You know, whenever you have ZR-rated tires on a crossover slash coupe, you know it's a serious performance machine, and that behind me certainly is. It's the 2021 AMG GLE 53 Coupe. Did I say that right, Tommy?
Yes, you did. That is the exact correct order, and in this video we are going to take a look in depth at this new Mercedes model. We're going to see how fast it goes from 0 to 60, check out how quiet it is on the highway, see how the MBUX system works navigating to a restaurant, and give you our final buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it score.
Yeah, and as always on our buddy review, we're not going to be able to say the word Mercedes, because if we say that, the MBUXA will say, "How may I help you?" So what should we call it?
We're going to call it the GLE because that's what it is. Now let's take a look at the outside of this model. The GLE is the large Mercedes SUV that competes with the X5. The GLE Coupe is a large Mercedes SUV that competes with the X6. So it's still the successor to the ML, but more smoothed out, more refined, more luxurious. And this is the AMG model, which means it's a high performance trim. And in the front, you've got this bold grille and one of the largest emblems I have seen on any car. Take a look at its relation to my head.
Hey guys, a little bit of a trivia question here. What is the biggest emblem slash car logo that's ever been put on a vehicle? Let us know in the comments below, and there is an answer to that question. Tommy, why can't we call it Rufus? It looks like a Rufus to me.
It's not Rufus. Rufus is like a 30-year-old raggedy old dog. This is not anything like that. This is refined and elegant. This is like a Sabrina, if anything, if you know what I mean. Now, let's take a look at the wheels. These wheels are large, 21-inch AMG wheels hiding these awesome AMG brakes. Pretty cool stuff, wrapped in Michelin Total Performance summer tires. So this is definitely an SUC like you've never seen before. An SUC is an interesting new name Mercedes is using on these models. SUC stands for Sport Utility Coupe because this rear end is nice and slanted and sporty versus a standard one, which is more squared off. Now the advantage of this is you get this beautiful rear end design. I like how flush and shaved everything is back here.
Is that like what BMW called it, the sports activity vehicle instead of the SUV? Yeah, is that the same thing?
Yeah, now we've got SUCs as well. Hey, a lot of acronyms to keep in mind.
How did that work, huh?
It works great. The X5 sells brilliantly, and they're still using it. They're still using it, Savvy. Anyways, Mercedes review. Shoo with your BMWs. To open up the trunk on the AMG 53, you push in on the logo, and it rises into life. And look at the size of it. Now, you definitely do lose a little bit of stacking capability because of the coupe roofline, but still massive.
How does it sound? Do you care?
I do care, actually.
All right, let me start it up and let me put it in kind of that extra exhaust mode so you can really hear it, okay?
Now these are quad AMG exhausts, but if you look carefully, they're not entirely genuine.
All right, here's a quiet mode, Tommy.
Cool, so you can actually hear the little valve open, and that's because this 53 down here means this is a straight 6 equipped AMG. There's two different versions of this model in the AMG lineup. There's the 53 and the 63. This one has a 3-liter straight 6 turbocharged, of course, with 429 horsepower, 384 pound-feet of torque, and this is a really special engine.
Yeah, where's the fan? Where's all the accessories?
Yeah, it's the beltless engine, exactly right.
Wow.
Interesting design. This also has something called EQ Boost, which is a 48-volt mild hybrid system to give you a little bit of boost off the line, help with economy.
Yeah, the other thing that it has is a eye-watering $93,000 price tag, which is a lot for, I'm calling it a baby AMG, right? Because there's a one that's even bigger and more powerful above it. Well, at least more powerful, not bigger.
Well, I mean, the 63 is a twin-turbo V8.
Okay, keep going.
There's a plane. That one has 600 horsepower versus the 429 in the 53, but I still think you'll be surprised with the performance of this straight 6 because it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it of course has all-wheel drive, so it should be able to put the power down.
4MATIC Plus.
4MATIC Plus 4-wheel drive, which means that it claws its way down the road, setting power to
Yeah,
whichever wheel has the most traction?
It's pretty advanced, exactly. You can distribute torque. It also has different drive modes. So let's jump inside, take a look at the interior, and then take it for a ride.
Hey Tommy, this is a gorgeous interior. Here it feels like 93K.
Yeah, it's incredible. And the first thing you notice are the dual 12.3-inch screens. So here in the center, we've got one screen for the navigation, for the climate control, the radio. And then in front of you, you've got another screen which is dedicated toward driver controls, speed, tachometer, safety equipment. It's all in there, and it's completely configurable. And take a look at this. This is really cool too. There's also themes, so you can configure them individually, but stop playing with them for a sec, Dad.
Sorry.
Look, I can go into like racetrack, and then it'll change not only the setup of the car, but the setup of the screen. So now you can see we've got G-forces and a more centralized speedometer and rev counter. But there's a ton of different options. So I can go into like lounge. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do lounge. Feeling very loungy.
It's gonna turn on lounge music, so I'm gonna have to shut it up. But when you go into lounge, everything kind of mellows out. You get a totally different screen there in the center. It's really cool how that works, huh? I'm going to go back into our standard trip mode. There we go.
Okay. And, you know, outside of like the completely configurable two screens, you also have a heads-up display, which is really cool.
Yeah, and red stitching throughout. This one has some bizarre seats.
Yeah.
Bizarre is maybe a wrong word. Berserk seats is the right word. These are the, I've got it here on the Monroney, the AMG Classic red and black Napa leather seats. How much do you think they cost?
5K?
No, not that much.
Really?
$3 grand, $29.90. And I personally love the look of the red and the black, but it's definitely bold for some people, I think.
So over here I can choose a whole bunch of different things. On this basically gives me different configurations for
the drive modes.
Right? And that changes everything. Throttle response,
steering, suspension.
Yes, well, there you go. And you know, there are individual modes. There are sand, trail, slippery. The really kind of one I would use is comfort, because I'm old and I like comfort. And I think for this one we should probably use what, Sport Plus? To give it the best chance at merging onto the highway?
Sure, that's
Because
fine. Keep
keep in mind, we're a mile above sea level and there's 3 of us in here.
And then down here you can also configure it individually. So this button does your exhaust, that does your suspension firmness. Here you can raise and lower the vehicle. This does riding on air suspension.
Yep.
So yeah, it really is a true AMG.
And of course you have a complete suite of cameras that you can choose and customize. You know, cameras have become ubiquitous, but I love how much view they give you now of where you're around and where you're at.
Yeah, and it's not a potato. You know, some of these are tater tot cameras, but
Yeah.
this is a real high definition surround view system.
The only part in here that feels a little bit like not up to the quality is this stock right here, which I use to select drive, neutral, and reverse. It just feels a little kind of, I don't know, wonky.
It's nice.
It's a little wonky.
It's not wonk. What does wonky mean?
Wonky means I'm expecting more out of it. I want to put my, let me configure that so I have my...
Your tack?
Yeah, I like my tack. There we go.
Nice.
Got my tack. That's what I like.
All right, so let's go over some of the options in here.
Yeah, let's play that game, the options game that we borrowed from Motoman. I'll guess, okay? You tell me the option, and you guys at home play along with us and guess how much these things cost.
The AMG Performance Exhaust System. How much do you think that costs?
I'm going to go $1,500.
It closed $1,250.
Oh, okay.
Rear side airbags.
Rear side airbags.
Yep.
I'm going to go $1,000.
$700.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're not doing so good, Dad. You're overshooting here.
All right. It's a bargain.
Heated and cooled cup holders.
Oh my, $500.
$180.
Oh, okay.
The driver assistance package, which is active Distronic, the adaptive cruise control,
Yep.
Stop assist, active speed limit assist, and your lane keeping assist. How much?
$1,500.
$1,950.
I'm not that far off, Tommy.
Not that far off.
Yeah.
And then the Energizing Comfort Package Plus. That's the ventilated front seats,
Ooh.
air balance package, and the multi-contour front seats with massage.
$2,500.
$2,100.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, you know, I do this for a living, so I think I did pretty well. You got to give me some credit there.
All
I was
right,
close.
I got one more for you.
All right.
The Acoustic Comfort Package. This is cool. Increased cabin insulation.
Yeah.
Windshield with infrared reflecting film, and then side windows with acoustic and infrared absorbing film.
$1,200.
$1,100.
All right.
Now that's cool, because I think you'll find when we get on the road, that package makes this car whisper quiet.
Do you have our sound tool?
I do?
Okay, so we will find out.
Somewhere.
You think it's less?
Yeah, I have it.
You think it's less than 70 decibels?
I think it's going to be way less. Yeah.
All right. Well, we did open the sunshade to let a little bit of light in, and it usually does affect how quiet or not the car is.
So when we merge onto the highway, we have it in Sport Plus.
Yes.
We're not going to use any kind of funky launch control or brake systems.
Nope.
Right? We're just going to do it like a normal person would merge, which is floored.
Yep.
And then we, of course, have 3 people in the car at a mile above sea level. So not ideal performance testing, but realistic performance testing, which is what we're going for.
Yeah, we do real world buddy reviews. You know, I do like the design of this giant screen. It's getting almost
so cool.
Tesla sized, but I do miss the round vents. So a lot of the Mercedes have these classic round vents with the little doodad that opens and closes them. This is more
square.
Yeah, it's a little bit more traditional.
You don't
I
like
the round
square?
ones. I like the round ones.
I do like how there's so many of them. I don't know why I need 4 in the middle here, but it's nice to have 4, you know?
Because you got this massive screen and you need symmetry.
It's comforting.
So I'm gonna have to wait for these guys to merge onto the road.
All right.
Because they don't know how to merge
Can
apparently.
you come to a complete stop so my solo DL can reset?
Yes, I can come to a complete stop.
The car behind us too.
Okay. Is it reset?
Nope. Go for it.
Okay, here we go. Lord.
Not bad. Wow! That's pretty good! And 60 there. What do you think?
I'd say that was maybe 5.5 seconds.
I'm gonna guess 6.01 because I looked at it. Alright, there you have it. 6 seconds flat, 0 to 60. That's pretty good for such a large SUV.
Now figure you could probably drop a second if you were at sea level, and
Yep.
you'd probably drop another second or close to it if you had one person in here, right? 'Cause-
Maybe half a second.
All right, so we're probably looking at more realistically like a 4 to 5 second time at sea level.
If you want more performance,
Yep.
there is the 63,
Yep.
which has 603 horsepower out of that twin turbo V8. That's like 3.7 to 60.
All right, I'm gonna take this out of Sport Plus so we can get a little bit more quiet here.
And put it in comfort.
Okay.
I'm gonna close this too.
Yep. And we're gonna see if we can get below 70 decibels. Right now we got the motor running, that motor. Let me get up to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, 66.
That's pretty quiet.
It's pretty quiet. I think it would be so much quieter if we didn't have such a large tire on here.
Yeah.
These performance tires aren't just steamrollers, especially in the rear. But
You ready for lunch?
I am ready for lunch.
All right.
Can I try it?
Sure, go for
Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
navigate to Snarf's Sandwiches.
Please select from the following locations.
Yeah, it works great. Look, I've got every Snarf Sandwiches. That was a great result, I have to say, Dad.
it. Yeah, I was expecting
What can I do for you?
that. I was expecting that.
Cancel. Please cancel. There it goes.
There it goes, yeah. You know, when this first came out, it was, I would say, not as good as like Siri, but now that actually proved to work very well, and more importantly, it canceled without me having to figure it out.
Yeah, yell at it for sure.
Yeah.
Cool navigation available on this GLE, by the way, where it will display real time on the screen a little animation on when and where you should turn left. So it displays like the picture of your surroundings.
It'll do it up heads up actually.
Yeah.
So if you're driving along, there'll be an arrow that points whichever way your navigation is telling you to go.
But it will do it on here too if it's equipped. Can I try it?
Sure, give it a shot. But before you do that, we're coming up on some rough roads here. Why don't you mount our little hula girl
Oh yeah.
so that we can see how she dances. Now keep in mind, 1 is very comfortable. I'm going to put it in comfort. I am in comfort. And 10 is, just hula crazy. So let's see where she's at.
Her dress is all messed up.
Yeah, we want a good dress here. I'm going to go over the rough parts on purpose. That's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe a 3, would you say?
Yeah, for an AMG,
Yeah.
that's the great thing about having an adaptive air suspension. Is
Yeah.
that you can just comfort it out all the way here.
Yeah, for 21s, that's pretty darn impressive.
I think a 3 is a good score.
Yeah.
Oh, she fell off.
She fell. There
What
she
a
goes.
tragedy.
Yeah, well, better than her dress falling off. So good stuff there, Tommy. All right, you want to try the navigation?
Yep. Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
navigate to Mercedes of Westminster.
Please select from the following.
All right, let's see if
The
it'll do
route
it.
is being calculated.
Now it should, as we...
In 200 feet, at the end of the road, turn left.
Oh, it's not doing it.
Look at
Yeah,
it for
there it is. So look,
Now
it
turn
projects
left.
a video feed, and then it shows you a little arrow that it animates, so you know exactly where to turn left. Isn't that so cool? You're not as excited by it as
That's
I
pretty
am.
Darn cool. Can you turn it off? Because it's going to yell at us for not going left. We're
Yeah,
going to go right.
I got it.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, there you go. This is where it gets fun.
there we go.
You turn it off?
Yep.
All right, now let's talk about what this car competes with.
Yeah, so BMW X6 is probably the primary rival.
Yeah, and of course X6M, right? If we're talking AMG to A to M.
Well, I'm thinking it'd be more like the M Sport
Sport,
series.
yeah,
Like, I
that-
think the X6M50.
Yeah,
M50i?
Yeah, not quite the M6. That
Right.
would be the 63 version. You know, that's probably the most obvious competitor. And what is always amazing about these vehicles, and you guys should check out our series Hotter Now, where we let the American Stig take these cars around our track. And if you look, the X6M that we've tested actually is, I think, one of the fastest cars we've ever had around the track, which is crazy because you would think a vehicle this tall and this heavy would not be good around a track. And yet, with modern technology, these cars are incredibly phenomenal when it comes to just sheer out quickness and speed.
I think another competitor that we have to talk about is like the Model X, right? 93 grand, the Model X starts at about 85, but there's not a whole lot of options until you jump up to the performance.
Yep.
And a Model 6, Model X, especially up here, even the non-performance feels quicker than the 53.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen at sea level. We discussed actually drag racing this against our long-term Model X, which cost $87,000. So, you know, they're very similar. But we felt that it would probably not be a fair race, just because at a mile above sea level, the electric car is always going to have instant torque and no degradation in performance.
But I do have to say, I mean, this does feel like a true AMG. When you plant it, that little straight six just hums, right? It really has a nice burble above 5,000 RPM. It's got that kind of straight six scream, and
Yeah, I mean,
you
everything
go down the road fast.
Everything about this just screams performance, right? What is now a cliche flat bottom steering wheel, right? The little knob here, which has as many performance options as it does comfort and, you know, foul weather options. The suspension, the way that it just, you know, hunkers down and lets this car do things that a big old crossover should never be able to do. So yeah, it is definitely an AMG, and you feel like you're driving the pinnacle of performance when you're in one of these cars, which is weird because it feels like a car I should be picking up kids at school as opposed to lapping around the track.
Well, let's go ahead and hop out, and we'll rate it on a scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it.
You got it. All right, Tommy. What do you think of Rufus?
It's not Rufus. If anything, it's something sophisticated, like an Ashley. You know? Rufus. I really like this AMG GLE 53 Coupe. I do think it's an exceptional vehicle to drive, great to look at, surprisingly comfortable for an AMG. You can really tone it down. So I'm going to say, if you can afford it, buy it, because it really is a great car.
Yeah, you know, I'm a little bit more pragmatic. I'm going to give it, on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, to lease it. And simply because it's so expensive that in the past, experience tells me that it's going to depreciate quite a bit. So, you know, if you're willing to take a significant loss over a pretty short amount of time, then definitely buy it. But I would say lease it, or wait till somebody else lease it and then buy it.
Well, as always, this has been Tommy for the Fastlane Car.
And Roman saying thanks for watching. And remember, check out TFLcar.com for more news, views, and of course, Ashley reviews.
Yeah, that's much better.
All right, see you guys next time. Ciao.